The Lost City of Atlantis. Number 10. Plato's Atlantis. The story of Atlantis comes to us from the Greek philosopher Plato, who wrote about it in his work. According to Plato, Atlantis was an actual place that existed in the Atlantic Ocean off the western tip of the known world. He described it as a place of wisdom where utopian civilization thrived. They were a powerful naval force and lived in peace until their arrogance and lust for power caused the gods to punish them. Plato said that this catastrophe happened 9,000 years before his time. This would place the sinking of Atlantis somewhere around 11,000 BC. Plato described Atlantis as being bigger than Libya and Egypt put together. With its 10,000 chariots pulled by horses that were used for war, the Atlanticans were apparently big on horses. Plato also said that they had palaces made of gold and ornately carved pillars that reached up to heaven itself. Their society was one of peace and unity until they began to wage war against the forces of good. That's when the gods flooded the island, killing everyone and every animal on the island. The only survivors were the ones who escaped on ships and fled to other parts of the world. 9. Does Plato's Atlantis actually exist? There have been countless theories regarding the existence of Plato's Atlantis. Some say that the island was real but sank during a natural disaster such as a tsunami. Others say that Atlantis was entirely a figment of Plato's imagination, created to illustrate a philosophical point in his work. One theory suggests that the real Atlantis was Thera, now called Santorini, an island south of the Greek mainland. Santorini is home to the Minoan Bronze Age civilization, whose society was completely wiped out after a volcanic eruption in the Aegean Sea around 1650 BC. This fits perfectly with Plato's description of a powerful civilization being wiped out by a sudden and violent natural disaster. Other researchers suggest that Plato got his inspiration from the Egyptian city of Hurghada, which was destroyed by a series of earthquakes in the 8th century BC. This could explain why Plato said that the Atlanteans kept horses as war mounts, since Heracleion was a major center for the breeding of horses. Number 8. The Legend of Atlantis. Though Plato is the first writer to mention Atlantis, its origins can be traced back even further, possibly as far back as 700 BC. In the 6th century, a writer, Namidric described a great flood that may have inspired Plato's Atlantis, but it wasn't until 1480 that the legend of Atlantis really took off. That's when a manuscript appeared in Italy describing the discovery of Atlantis. Written in Latin, the manuscript told the story of a Spanish bishop named Julio, who supposedly sailed to the New World and found a tablet that described how to reach the lost city of Atlantis. The manuscript became so popular that it was translated into many different languages. People went crazy over the idea that Atlantis might actually exist, and there was a mad rush to find the lost city. Expeditions set sail across the Atlantic to search for the legendary island. None of them ever came back. It was until centuries later that people realized that the whole story of Bishop Julio was just a hoax. Number 7. Atlantis and the Great Flood. The Great Flood is another common thread in all the stories about Atlantis. In Plato's version, the flood was a punishment from the gods, but in other versions, the flood was a natural disaster that destroyed the island. Either way, it plays a significant role in the mythology surrounding Atlantis. Many people believe that the Great Flood mentioned by Plato actually refers to a real event, like the biblical Great Flood or the destruction of the Sumerian city of Atadu. Atadu is believed to be the first great city in human history, and it dates back to 2700 BC. According to Sumerian mythology, Eridu was destroyed by a great flood sent by the gods, wiping out all life on earth except for one righteous man and his family. Could the myth of Atlantis actually be based on this or some other ancient flood? Is there any truth to this story at all? Maybe it's all just a bunch of nonsense. 6. Atlantis and the ancient astronaut theory. According to conspiracy theorists, the ancient astronauts came from a planet called Nibiru. Is located in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter, and its orbit takes it close to the Earth every 3,600 years. This is what caused the Great Flood that destroyed Atlantis. The ancient astronauts were already on Earth when the Great Flood hit, and they were the ones who survived by escaping on ships and fleeing to other parts of the world. But there's no evidence to support the ancient astronaut theory. And even if there was, it still wouldn't prove that Atlantis was a real place. It would just mean that aliens visited Earth and wiped out a civilization that pissed them off. And we know that aliens didn't visit Earth because nobody has ever found any proof of it. If they did, I'm sure that somebody would have found some sort of evidence of their presence by now. Thanks for watching. Which fact about Atlantis surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below. And while you're there, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.